Here's how to build the best Demon Lord Clan Boss team in all of Raid Shadow Legends, man. The team that is on screen right now, apart from the fact that a bunch of the legendaries and epics that are on screen right now can actually be replaced with rare champions, and in fact, there's a bunch of rare champions that we could switch onto this team that would actually do better than the epic champions. Let's break it down, man. We're going to talk about what kind of stats you need to build the Affinity Wixwell Demon Lord Clan Boss team, as well as some common issues that can cause your Wixwell teams to fail, like on this account right here, man. This is an account takeover video for Mr. Crow, who has a Wixwell team up and running, apart from the fact that it fails like 1 in 4 times or something, and he can't quite put his finger on why, so we're just going to be troubleshooting the hell out of that. First things first, man, if you're going to start off a new raid account in 2025, then use the beginner promo link down below this video right now at the top of the video description box to create that new raid account, man. It's going to get you off to the best start possible with a free start, a legendary champion in the form of Basilius Roanus as soon as you're done with the tutorial on that new account, and a whole bunch of free epic champions as you level that account on up as well. Best beginner promo link going, and the only proper way, man, to create a new raid account in 2025, man. Or just send that link to a friend if they're looking to start playing raid themselves as well. Get them off to an incredible start, man. Okay. Let's have it. So in order to build the Affinity Wixwell Clan Boss team, what tools do you need? Well, Wixwell's pretty bloody important, you know? What Wixwell is going to do is come on in, place an increased defense buff and shield buffs across all of your team on his A3, which is just swell and lovely. And then on his A2, it's an attack all enemies places decreased attack, which is actually quite important. The decreased attack is very crucial as well. This A2 also increases the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn, meaning you increase the duration of your own Wixwell shields across your entire team. Then it increases the value of all shields on all allies. The value of each shield is increased proportional to the total number of buffs which had their duration increased. So he offers himself shield growth to his own shields. And the idea is that you build a Wixwell team with Wixwell at the center of that team, and you just grow your shields faster than the Demon Lord Clan Boss can damage the shields down. Hence the name Affinity Wixwell team. You just can't die until the Demon Lord runs out of turns. That's the plan. And the good news is that the only tough component to get for building this team is Vault Keeper Wixwell himself. Everything else, very easy, very budget. What you need is at least 2 other champions on the team that bring a 3-turn cooldown skill, right? That increases the duration of ally buffs, okay? Very cheap option for this, and one of the champions we're going to be using in this video is Hellborn Sprite. Rare champion, man. Spirit affinity, very easy to get from just pulling random shards. Keep a copy of Hellborn in your vault at all times, man, just in case you can build this team in future. 3-turn cooldown on her A3, increase the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn, and then place an increased crit rate buff on all allies for 2 turns, which is important, right? You want your buff extender champions, right, your 3-turn cooldown buff extender champions, to ideally bring some unique buffs to the table. Why? Because if you remember, Wixwell's A2 increases the value of shields on all allies proportional to the number of buffs which had their duration increased. So the more buffs you bring to the table, the more buffs you bring to the team, the more shield growth you get, and the easier it is to pull this team off. Another very cheap option champion that you can use in a team like this, we actually have one in the vault. Her name is Valerie. She's great because she's campaign farmable, right? Just hit the stage 1 of campaign and you're going to get copies of Valerie and get her fully booked up in no time flat. Increase the duration of all buffs and all allies by 1 turn, and place an increased attack buff on allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown on her A2. You can totally just use a Valerie and a Hellborn Sprite on your team for this job. Other options you've got, we've actually got a lot of options on this account, man. We've got Anchorite. This is another great champion, man. Increased crit rate, increased crit damage buff on all allies, and then he brings buff duration extension on a 3-turn cooldown on his A2. One thing to note about Anchorite is that he's not good to pair up with Hellborn Sprite, because Hellborn Sprite also brings an increased crit rate buff, the weak version. She's just not going to land that because Anchorite's increased crit rate buff is the 30% version. It's just going to overwrite the Hellborn Sprite's buff, and so you're technically losing 1 buff on the team if you run an Anchorite. You're better off running Anchorite and Valerie in that combination, so you're maximizing the amount of, again, unique buffs that you're bringing to the table. Another option that you can bring is also another champion we have on this account, which is ridiculous. We've got so many buff extenders on this account, man, is Sandlashed Survivor. This is not a great option to bring along, okay? And so if you're having issues setting up your Wixwell team and one of your buff extenders is Sandlashed Survivor, this might be your issue. Sandlashed does increase the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn on a 3-turn cooldown. Great, she does the job. Problem is that Miss Survivor does not bring any unique buffs to the table, not counting her passive, which it just doesn't count because of how that passive works. Like, a Valerie is going to be more valuable than a Sandlashed Survivor. What is going on with this little piece of fringe right here, man? I look like a bloody 90s boy band member. Ugh. You're much better off, man, with a Valerie and with a Hellborn Sprite than you are squeezing in a Sandlashed Survivor because it doesn't bring any unique buffs. We've actually got a Diamant Copper Coin on this account as well. Another buff extender, not bucked. Diamant brings intercept stacks on a target ally, then increase res and strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns. Great buffs to bring, very unique. Good stuff. The more buffs we bring, the better. And then brings 3-turn cooldown. You know, increase the duration of buffs, 10 meter fill, attack all enemies. Good stuff. Like, we can actually use Diamant, and fully booking Diamant Copper Coin on this account is a legitimate option that we should definitely consider. And the final component of the team, very frankly, so it's Wixwell, 2 10-meter boosters. You need a damage dealer, Geomancer, Ninja, a bloody Kale can work just fine, right? What's important is like making sure you've got enough defense stats on these champions to make sure they can actually live and their shields continue to grow. Your damage dealer doesn't matter that much. Just pick a good poison or HP burner and you're going to do just fine. Another component is making sure you have a good increased speed champion on the team. Haikatoon can do just fine. She can also run as the aura lead in the team as well and just get your team firing faster and growing those shields faster too. A good increased speed champion I would recommend. Not 100% necessary. If you've got good enough defense stats and high speeds on your champs, you can get away with just not running an increased speed champion and do okay. But those are like the key ingredients for the team. So we obviously have the key ingredients for the team sorted on this account. That's not our problem. Next ingredient for making this team work is hitting certain stat checks on all of your champions, man. I'd be looking for at least 3,500 defense or more on the Vault Keeper Wixwell, which is, you know, stats that we've taken care of on this account. So that's looking pretty good. Ideally a lot more, by the way, than 3,500. We talk about like minimums here just to get the team up and running. And on all of the buff duration extenders, like if we're using like the Sandlashed Survivor, I'd be looking at least 3,000 defense on all of these nerds as well. We're looking very low on the Hellborn Sprite. 3,000 defense on all of the buff duration extenders, and on the damage dealer as well. You know, about 3k defense on those guys also. Kind of important that they're not taking too much damage so that the shields have time to grow. Your damage dealer when it comes to speeds can be basically any speed, as long as they're not going faster than the Wixwell and faster than everybody to the point where, like, if you're running like a Razzlevag as your damage dealer, this guy can end up running at like 300 true speed or something stupid, you know, 350 true speed, and like outpacing the buffs so that the shields are falling off of him. That can be a problem, right? Your Wixwell should always be the fastest champion on the team, if you can. Your damage dealer speeds, though, don't really matter that much unless it's a special case like Razzlevag. Yeah, like 180 speed on your damage dealers is fine. Your 10 meter, your buff duration extenders like the Sandlashed Survivor, have these guys built at, I'd say, about 200 speed, and the Wixwell, I'd aim for about 230 speed. Your Wixwell, I mean, the team basically can't be fast enough. The faster the team is running, the quicker the Wixwell is building the shields. And that's it, really. Another thing you can do also, by the way, I've got to say the Wixwell speed is a little bit low, man. 194 speed for an Infinity Wixwell team is very much on the low side. Makes me a little bit surprised that we're able to one-key Ultra Nightmare even sometimes with this Wixwell. We must be right on the brink of failure in these Ultra Nightmare Wixwell runs on Mr. Crow's account, but we're making it happen. And I'm just going to see if I can refine the team a little bit more so that we're not failing any of our runs. Another thing you want to do is build your Wixwell in a reflex set. It's very important, man. You've got to be in a reflex set in your Wixwell. You've got to have at least 230 accuracy on your Wixwell. We're a little bit short here on the Wixwell as well. We can't have any, even just like small percentage chance of our decreased attack debuff being resisted on the Wixwell. It's no good, okay? The Wixwell spamming off this A2 and getting up the decreased attack debuff against the Demon Lord, very important for this team. 230 accuracy is sort of the minimum that's required or recommended to take into Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, and so I'm going to try and bump up the accuracy a little bit if I can, and increase his speed a bit if I can. But having the Wixwell in a reflex set so he has a chance to reset the cooldown or lower the cooldown of his skills is crucial, because we're going to have the Wixwell prioritize the crap out of using this A2. So he's spamming his shield gain ability, this A2, as much as possible throughout the fight. So good to see we've got a reflex set on the Vaultkeeper Wixwell. He looks built all correctly. I'm just a bit concerned about some of his stats. We'll get to him when we get to him. When it comes to the 10-meter boosters, you need at least one 10-meter booster to be built in a shield set, which I'm happy to see has been done here on the Sandlashed Survivor, even if I'm not super happy with the Sandlashed Survivor, and I recommend that we build another 10-meter another buff duration extender that's not Sandlashed, because she can do the job, but she's not ideal for it, and so that's fine. However, we do also have Hellborn Sprite also in a shield set, which is not super necessary. The reason, or like the main reason you run the shield set isn't because the shields are super valuable. You run the shield set because shield sets and the shield buffs that you get from Wixwell count as two separate buffs, right? They're not the same buff, and so the shield set on your team just counts as an extra buff that helps scale up your Wixwell shields faster with the Wixwell's A2 skill. That's the main reason you run the shield sets, and so you don't necessarily need two shield sets on your guys. It might get the team off the ground a little bit easier to run double shield set, but as far as I understand, it's not super necessary, as long as you're hitting like good defense stats and the rest of it. Next thing we're going to do when setting up this team is go ahead, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and get the Wixwell Rebuild keyed in right now, and all we're doing with this rebuild is literally polishing up his accuracy a little bit. You can see he's almost at like 250 accuracy now. Great, that's more than enough. We're also improving his speed by about, what's that, like 8? No, what am I talking about? 18? No, 14. It's 14. He's gaining 14 speed. God. Can you tell it's been a long day, man? I've been recording for 8.5 hours straight, man, because I'm still getting worse. My throat's still getting bad. I don't feel good, man. I can feel a couple days in bed are going to be warranted real soon, so I'm trying to get ahead on videos a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, this is what the Wixwell rebuild is going to look like. I'm going to go ahead and just equip this on up straight away, and I'm also going to go ahead and fully rank up his chest piece. We need as much defense on the Wixwell as we can possibly get, because, yeah, the more defense he's got. I don't like the HP percentage on the gauntlets, by the way. It doesn't do anything for this team, frankly. You're better off just going, like, way higher defense on the Wixwell than anything. That said, we are super limited on what options we have in terms of reflex gear. Like, this is all of it. You know, yeah, as you can see by the stats on those gloves, we don't really have anything to work with. I'm also going to go ahead, though, and max roll up this shield as well. There's a gear enhancement going on right now as well, so I'm not too worried about doing that. We get his defense back up to about where it was before the rebuild, except for the fact that now, again, we fixed his accuracy and we improved his speeds. A little bit surprised to see that we don't actually have any relics on the Wixwell. I think we're just going to go ahead and throw the Dragonstone on him. Mostly just for the defense. We do have enough resources to go ahead and rank this up, and oh god, okay. Just gonna go ahead and rank up the Gilded Dragonstone, just eating and just crunching up a couple of the crappier relics that we've got rocking on this account. Upgrade this a bit more. Just more defense stats for the Wixwell, right? It increases the size of his initial shield when he first places the shield, which is quite crucially important. So, yeah, I think that this is totally worth equipping on up to the Wixwell. Do we have any gemstones we can put on this as well? We do. 10-meter increase effects are 10% more effective on the wearer. That's actually quite good for us to go ahead and slot on in as well. Just anything that we can do to get the Wixwell firing faster is going to be a big help to us. Ooh, we also don't have masteries on the Wixwell either. Not all of them, at least. Oh my god, hang on. We actually have Diamant Copper Coin in the shield set as well. Mr. Crow. This is way too many shield sets that we've got rocking here, man. This is a lot. Seeing as though these are 6-star speed boots, though, I am going to go ahead and take the liberty of rolling these up to max because, you know, like, these literally can't be banned. They're going to be used on whoever's using the shield set in the team. So, but that's enough of tinkering with builds. The next thing I want to take a look at as well is the team AI against Ultra Nightmare and see how we're doing. So the last key that we put in, we did deal 85 million damage. If we check on into the team AI, this is the team that Mr. Crow has been using right here, I believe. So Wixwell has to be the fastest, first and foremost, obviously. So he's going to open up with a shield and then never use his shield again. And the idea with this is that he gets the shield up, he gets the increased defense buff, blah, 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 like, that's all good stuff, and then he never needs to use that skill again, because the shields should never fall off, and the increased defense buffs should never fall off, right? The only skill we ever want to be spamming on the Wixwell from then on out is his A2 to grow those shields, and this is also going to make it that the reflex set, whenever the reflex set triggers and decreases the cooldown of a skill, it's always going to land on that A2 for the rest of the fight, which is perfect, right? It makes this 3-turn cooldown skill more like a 2-turn cooldown, kind of on average over the course of the fight, which is perfect. Then with our our buff extenders, the instructions are going to vary a bit here. So for Diamant, we've got him listed down as first opening with his buffs, which is good stuff, right? His opening skill is going to be his A3, which is what you want. You need to stack up as many buffs as possible before the turns get back around to the Wixwell again. So the increased resistance and strengthen is going to come on out. Hellborn is going to open with the transmute, which I think is also fine. Gets up the increased crit rate. Again, I wish that the Hellborn was just Archbishop Pinthroy, and then I wish the wish the Survivor was a Valerie. That's just a lot more buffs to pack on into the team, and we will have no problem at all if we're using Pinthroy and Valerie instead as the buff extenders. As a result, Survivor is just going to open with and just... okay, we don't actually need the open with button there. The Survivor is just going to spam the A2. That's basically all you need to know, right? So just increasing the duration of buffs. And the Survivor's coming in as the slowest champion, which I think is fine as well. And the Geomancer literally just doesn't matter. We just don't care about him. That sounded really rude. I apologize, Mr. Geo, dude. You're a good guy, man, behind those insane eyes. So it's not lost on me as well that one of the issues that this team is having right away is that we're having to run 4 buff duration extenders, right? We're running the Wixwell, the Survivor, the Hellborn, and the Diamant. That's overkill, but we're having to do that because Diamant isn't booked. So Diamant can't do the job on his own unless he gets fully booked, particularly on this A2, right? This A2 has to be fully booked in order for Diamant to do this job solo. If we get the Diamant fully booked, by the way, we can just delete Survivor from this team. It's just not a required champion anymore. We just wouldn't need the Survivor because the Diamant then we've got 2 buff duration extenders with Diamant and Hellborn, and Wixwell's coming in as the 3rd. That's all you need, right? We don't actually need the Survivor on this team if we fully book the Diamant. And instead of a Survivor, we could just go with like a Haikatoon to just bring like increased speed buffs and get the team firing way faster. That alone as well would make a big difference towards making this team a lot more viable, but I'm getting ahead of myself just a little bit. For now, the team AI setup looks about fine to me. Now, just below this team right here is another second team that I've already gone ahead and set up ahead of time. Why have I done this? What's wrong with me? Well, against Spirit Affinity Clan Boss, which we just happen to be up against right now, against Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss here, whenever you're up against Spirit Affinity, you can run into issues with your Wixwell team. It's like the most common problem. Why? Spirit Affinity, as you see on the little chat up here, like in the middle of the screen, Spirit Affinity is strong into Force. AKA Force Affinity is weak into Spirit Affinity. That's a problem because Wixwell is Force Affinity, meaning he has a pretty good chance of weak hitting with his A2 and failing to land the decreased attack debuff. That's not good, right? If you fail to land this decreased attack debuff just like a couple times in a row, you can run into problems where suddenly the Demon Lord hits you for like 10-400 or something. The Demon Lord will just smack you across the face for like 5 billion damage and just instantly one-shot the shields, you know? It can get to be really on a knife's edge against Spirit Affinity with Wixwell, where if he fails to land this debuff even one time, which isn't that unlikely, you can fall into hot water. Now, a solution that I found on my own main account is switching my team leader, right? Instead of running a speed or a lead, like on my main account, I run Haikatoon as the speed or a lead, even still to this day. Like if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? I run Haikatoon as the speed or a lead, and that works just fine. Against Spirit Affinity, I found that just running Wixwell as the team aura lead instead and getting the 30% defense aura. Oh, it's actually only 28%? Why did I think it was 30%? Well, it's a 28% speed defense aura in all battles. I find that that gives you a bit more leeway. You deal less damage because your team isn't moving as fast. So there's a bit of a trade-off there. But it seems to me like running Wixwell as the aura lead against Spirit Affinity tends to work better and make the run more reliable overall. I've not failed yet against Spirit Affinity on my main account, running Wixwell as the aura lead, whereas I have most definitely failed while running Haikatoon as the aura lead. So it seems to have fixed it for me. So that can be a little like troubleshooting solution that you can try out right there if you're struggling against Spirit. Now again, I do have concerns with this team, particularly with the Hellborn Sprite's defense stats. That's worryingly low, man. 2300? Bloody hell, like that's very low, man, for a Wixwell team like this. The Diamant, okay, like, is a little bit higher, a bit less of a concern, I guess. But the Hellborn has me concerned. She's running HP rings and HP amulets, which and an HP banner as well, which all could be part of the problem. It's not a bad amount of defense on the HP ring that she's running. I gotta go and check on the pan of sizzling mushrooms in the kitchen real quick, so just give me a sec. Okay, we're good. They're not done just yet, man. Let's see if we can improve the defense stats on this Hellborn just a little bit. God, I've got to channel all of my content creator look into this one, lads. Come on, man. Double attack, oh god. Even just one defense percent roll would be pretty good. Oh my god, okay, we actually do hit it one time. Even, oh, it's a 45 defense increase worth 4,000 health though. That's just not worth it, it's just not worth it. See if we can get a little bit of better luck here on the banner and strike on some defense percent. Okay, so it's already a banner upgrade, that's great. We only hit it the one time. Don't know why I'm ranking it up to 12, it doesn't really do anything beyond that. Small defense increase there, plus a glyph maybe? I have been given leave to just basically use any old resources on this account. Hopefully we can do better than a 1% roll though. Okay, 3% will do. It's nearly a 100 defense increase. I think that's probably worth. We also have a defense amulet here as well, which... You know, a defense main stat on amulets is typically pretty crap, but in this kind of situation, I feel like it might be warranted. It's nearly a 200 defense increase. After all, I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. Tell you what, I won't meddle any further, man. Let's just give her like a 300 defense bump and leave it at that. And okay, with all of those things being said and done, let's just see how the regular team first, running Diamant, aka our stand-in for Haikatoon, runs into Demon Lord. Then we're going to talk about some ways that we can actually upgrade this team sort of going forwards, you know, some upgrade paths that we have, because obviously one thing we can do is fully book up the Diamant and then drop the Sandlash Survivor for just like a better champion option, something like a Haikatoon or whatever, you know, would do just fine. Any kind of increased speed champion would do just fine if we were to book up the Diamant. That's one path. Another path for me would be to level the Archbishop Pinthroy and take Pinthroy and Valerie instead. And we could do it that way, you know? And then the Diamant, we can either take him or leave him, depending on whether or not we still need like a stupid amount of buffs to help out with the shield growth, but we won't actually need him specifically for the shield growth anymore. We've got some options here, man. Anyways, so far so decent. Big amount of buff spread across everybody. The buffs are obviously growing nicely because we're running bloody 4... you know, buff duration increases, whereas you only really need 3 to get the team done, so no surprises there. We're mostly interested in the shield health. As you can see on the Hellborn sprite right here on the far right, she's the easiest to see. We've got like the little kind of checkerboard style shield buff icon right here, just above her nameplate, like the first buff on her nameplate right here. That's the shield buff, like shield set buff. You know, and then a little bit further along we have another shield. It's like a shield cut in half. That's the Wixwell shield. The first sign of this team failing tends to be the shield set buff, the checkerboard shield dropping off some of our champions, you know. So yeah, another issue that we've got right here as well is that the boss is actually focusing all of its attacks and its stuns into the Geomancer, which is a little bit unusual. Usually when there's a Wixwell on the team, I find that the boss will focus its attacks into the Wixwell. So, you know, a bit of an oddity that it's not doing that. I also notice that the boss right now does not have a decrease attack debuff up on it. So hopefully this lands. It does indeed. If it fails to land, that might be when it's panic time, you know? Another thing that you'll notice right now as well, if you've got a keen eye, is that we are not running an increased speed champion buffer on this team. However, we have a lot of increased speed buffs across the team. How is that possible? How is that possibly happening? Right, well, say hello to the Diamant Coppercoin Hell Hades page, which I think frankly underrates him a little bit. Just because he's a Void Legendary, I think that people expect more of him. His in-game ratings as well are really, really bad. But if you scroll on down his skills here, dude, check out his passive right here, man. 50% chance to convert a debuff into a buff before it is placed on an ally, okay? So if you receive any kind of decreased speed debuffs, for example, like you receive from Spirit Affinity Demon Lord Clan Boss, right? Spirit Affinity Clan Boss will try and place decreased speed debuffs on your champs. It converts it into a 30% increased speed buff, bro. So, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, man. Spoilers, I'm gonna recommend that we actually book Diamant on this account, which I can't believe I'm saying that, dude. This is a champion that's got like 1.5 ratings in all of his in-game reviews in basically every area. This is not a popular champion, bro. But the thing is, we've already got a fully booked ninja on this account, I think. I think he's already fully booked. We've already got a fully booked, like the Wixwell's fully booked, you know. We've already fully booked a bunch of good legendaries in the account, and what's left? Some less optimal legendaries. The books could go into the Alice next on this account, but there's a bunch of legendaries that are not that great for us to put the books into. I say just pull the trigger on Diamant and get this team solidified, man. Get this team in a really, really good place, you know. We fully booked the Diamant. We can drop the Sandlash from this team and replace it with like a speed booster champion. And because the Diamant actually converts the decreased speed debuffs against Spirit Clan Boss into increased speed buffs, he also helps out this team against its greatest challenge, which is Spirit Affinity Demon Lord Clan Boss. Man, I think that Diamant goes from like a pretty decent champion to just a great champion if you're using him as a buff duration increaser in a Wixwell team, you know. So I'm gonna recommend that we book him. Maybe that makes me crazy as hell, but yeah, it's what I think. I mean, it's either that or build Archbishop Pinthroy and Valerie, and that's a lot of resources to get those guys up to 60, and yeah. I think we'd rather spend the books in this guy. So far the shields are holding out. I'm gonna go prepare my supper, and I'm just gonna leave this recording, man. That's how easy it is. Right. Pork, egg, and mushrooms decimated, and it turns out I don't need any of the footage of this fight because the run didn't fail, so I don't need to see what went wrong, man, because it all went very, very right. Final thing I will say before just ending the run and just closing out of the game to save the Demon Lord Clan Boss key is that if you're failing against a certain affinity with your Wixwell team, you've got to watch the fight. I know it's boring. You could just record the fight using like OBS or something, right? Just like record your screen while the fight's happening so that when it fails, you can go back and watch the recording or just watch the fight unfold and see who loses their shield first. Against different affinities of Demon Lord Clan Boss, different affinities are going to target different champions on your team with the stun, right? It might be the Hellborn Sprite taking the stun, for example, against Magic Affinity Demon Lord, and suddenly she might not have enough defense to survive, right? Because she's taking extra damage from the boss's A1 skill, the boss's Crushing Force ability, and so you're going to be a little bit wary of that, and you might just need to build more defense on certain champions in the team. But as a good rule of thumb, more defense on whatever champion that the shield is failing on is great, and just more speed always is going to be more beneficial to the team, particularly on the Wixwell, so he just grows the shields faster and just outpaces the boss's damage. That's all there is to it, really. Gonna go ahead and exit out of the game so that we don't waste the key. Just given that Mr. Crow has already spent his key into Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss today, would actually have been a wasted key, so yeah, I don't want to be doing that. As for ways that we could further develop this team, if it's failing still against certain affinities, we could run the team that we're running right now with better stats. That's the way that we could do it. We could also try running Wixwell as the aura lead, a defense aura instead of a speed aura. This can sometimes fix things. It certainly fixed things on my account, but these are the teams for the right now. For the future of the account, I more recommend teams that look a little bit like this. This team at the top right here, with the Diamant still in the team, is going to be dropping the Sandlashed Survivor and fully booking the Diamant, right? That's what this first team up here is all about. If we decide to fully book the Diamant, we no longer need the Sandlashed, and we can get the Haikatoon in the team instead, and the team should function just fine that way. And in fact, be even better, because then it's getting a good, reliable, extra 10 meter boost and just increased speed buffs coming in from Haikatoon against all affinities, so that's great. The second option is the non-booking Diamant option, which would give us like the best overall results. This is like the most buffs that we can pack in using our 10 meter boosters, not including Diamant, right? It's the Valerie and the Pinthroy. Wait a minute, am I calling him Pinthroy? Is that correct? Anchorite. Oh my god, dude. Have I been calling him Pinthroy for this entire video? Yeah, I really do need some rest. Christ. But this is the team I would recommend building on a budget if we don't want to book the Diamant. To be fair, we could also probably switch out the Haikatoon and just continue running the Diamant in the team. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Diamant's particularly good to bring into a Wixwell team just because he brings such unique buffs, right? Increased resistance and strengthen. Alongside the Valerie's increased attack, and then crit rate and crit damage from Pinthroy. That's 5 extra buffs right there that we could be running if we just continue to run Diamant as part of this team, and so that's definitely an option for us as well. Let me just go in and fix his AI. And for this Anchorite and Valerie team, because the I nearly did it again, dude. Because the Anchorite brings his buffs on a different skill to his 10 meter boost, we need the Anchorite moving faster than the Valerie, but not faster than the Wixwell. Of course, he need to be faster than the Valerie, come in, apply his buffs, and then just never use that A3 ever again, and just focus on using his buff duration increase. And the Valerie would need to come in after the Anchorite, obviously, and then actually she's not going to use a shield at all. It's irrelevant, it's pointless, right? It's never going to be bigger than the Wixwell shield, so forget about it. And we need her to come in after the Anchorite and start increasing buff duration, and just be a little bit slower than the Anchorite, like 2 or 3 speed will totally do. If it were up to me, I'm going to be totally honest, I'd go for the top option and buck the Diamant, dude. Buck the trend, okay? Who cares that the in-game reviews have this guy down as a total piece of crap? If he's perfect for a team, he's perfect for a team, and there's no better team in all of Raid Shadow Legends that you could possibly build and get right, and you know, you can set and forget, and once it's done, it's done. You never have to look at Demon Lord Clan Boss ever again. It's the Wixwell team. You know what I'm saying? Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this happy little account takeover, man. If you did, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel and all of that good stuff, man. Use the beginner promo link down below at the top of the description box if you're ever looking to create a new Raid Shadow Legends account. Use that link on laptop or PC to get all of the free rewards that you see on screen right now, man. And just get the best start possible on any new Raid account that you happen to create. Thanks for stopping by, and I'm going to catch all of you all just a tad